Hey, good morning. This is Tim Schrock from Design Build Solutions with another tech tip on Tuesday. I have a unique situation with this project that I'm designing right now that we want to have a, let me show you here. I'm going to sketch on the screen what we're trying to do. This is the floor. I want to create an opening that does something like this. Now, at the end of the arched opening, we're going to have column, column, and in between, so complete the picture, here's the wall. So we'll have pilaster on each end, and in between the column and the pilaster, we're going to have a little pedestal right here, raised pedestal, and on both sides. So this pedestal the column will rest on the pedestal, the pilaster will rest on the pedestal, and then we'll have this arched archway in between. So this is open, and this is open. Let's get to Chief Architect and see how we do that. Here's my living room. And I want to create that space, that archway in this, between the living room and the hallway. So the full width is my 13 feet, 156 inches across here. But I want to show, I'm going to do a 9-foot, let's do, I'm going to undo that. And to start off with, I'm going to make my lines here where they need to be, 8 inches, and if I take a quick dimension from line to line. Okay, so let's say this is there we go. All set. That's where we want the major, the largest full width of this opening. I'm going to make this, let's say 96 inches, so that 2'6". Yeah, that makes sense, right? Okay. So I'm going to make a series of 3 openings, and then part of them are going to be covered by my column. So I'm going to make the center one, the arched opening. We'll make it a broken arch. We're going to give it a height of 16, and then I'm going to add 16 to this height, like so. Now, I'm going to add another doorway right here and bring that up to the end there. My line that I previously created, remember that was 90¼ tall. And I can now copy and mirror this over here. So let's look at our wall elevation. Getting close, right? You can kind of see where this column's going to be. You can see where the pilaster would go. The arch isn't exactly what I want, but we can fix that. Whoops, selected the wrong one. Not selecting the arch I want. Okay, so we'll go back to plan view. There's our opening. Do an elliptical arch. Yeah. I think that I'm going to add 2 more inches to this. Go to my, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Now, column, let's go into our library. So architectural, millwork, columns. I'm going to choose a Doric column here. I'm going to give it width and height of 12, or width and depth of 12 inches. I'm going to Control G or Command G on my keyboard to center it in this wall, and then move it like so. I may actually want that 10 inches. And then I got to recenter it in the wall. There we go. Now, in the past tutorials, I've talked a lot about layers, right? And in this case, I'm going to talk about layers again. I'm going to draw the pedestal, which I want to be, right here. And it's going to sit on the floor. We're going to, in section view, you've got the floor, you've got a bit of raised pedestal here, and then we've got a bit of a cap, wood cap, like so. So I'm going to say this is millwork. You could draw this on the millwork layer or on the walls layer. I've done both from time to time, but I'm going to call this millwork. So I clicked on my current CAD layer icon here. If you can't find that, go to CAD, current CAD layer. I'm going to hit M on my keyboard to quickly jump down toward millwork, because I am creating millwork, right? So first I'm going to draw the base, not the cap, but the base of it. And I'm going to draw it right to the corners of this column. If I take a section of this, I want my base to be the same, at the same level as the, my base of the pedestal to be at the same level as my base of the column, and then my cap will come out just a little bit here. And so what I'll show you is we'll raise this up, say raise that up 8 inches, 8 in Y, there we go. So my cap will run just beyond the base of the column, like so. And then the base of the pedestal will be in line with this line of the column. Make sense? All right. So this is the base that I've drawn first. I'm going to make it a polyline solid. We're going to make it thickness of 7 1/4, because the cap is going to be a 3/4 inch cap. We're going to make that from finished floor, and the finished floor to bottom is 0 inches. There we go. Now I'm going to double click on my preferences behaviors tool. I've got my toolbar set up with my let's get out of that, with my options here to concentric, start tangent, end arc, fillet, default, resize, alternate, and rotate about corner. If you double click on this icon, you're going to pull up your preferences and go directly to the edit behaviors tool. You can find that in a Mac by hitting the command comma mark. There's preferences, edit behaviors, and I'm going to say 1 inch. We're going to make this concentric 1 inch. So I'm going to copy, paste in place, and pull this out 1 inch. And reset my concentric back to 0. So now I know all sides, all four sides are 1 inch from where it used to be. And pull this back. Actually, I'll leave that there because I want that to do the same there. The only difference being now, this is the same thickness. I want this 3/4 of an inch, and I want this to be 7 1/4 from the bottom. So the top is 8 inches from the finished floor. Lastly, I'll change this base of the pedestal to have a different line style so that in plan view it looks proper. And let's give it an 18 line weight instead of 25. So it's not the same line weight as the cap is. Now if I go back to my wall elevation, that looks great, except I want this to be white, and let's make this cap, we'll make it oak. So wood, oak, we'll give it a, give it golden oak, that's fine. Now, this will go up to the top here. I'm going to pull this to the middle of that piece. And then we'll move this over here like so. Minus 1. I can still see the wall through this column, unfortunately. I think what we'll have to do is actually change the size of the column. Yeah, see how we can still see that casing kind of come through the column. I was hoping the column would hide it. But other than that little piece, this doesn't look too bad. So let's change this 12, let's go 11. See what happens. Looks like it covered it mostly. Let's recenter the column on the wall and see if that helps us. If we actually, yeah, 11 by 11 works. Now I'll have to just reset my pedestal size properly. Now remember, I did it quickly when I was done resizing that pedestal cap. I changed my concentric back to 0 because if this is still at 1, even though I'm in the edit mode default, I can override the default by pressing the C key on my keyboard. If I do that, it's going to jump at the 1 inch. That this is set at, and I don't want that always. So I'm going to set this to 0, click OK, and you'll see what I'm doing here. If I hold the C key on my keyboard and grab this corner, I can go any size I want. I'm going to take it right out to the size of the column, and now it's set on all 3 sides that it needs to be. Now this piece needs to go out. If I draw a line from corner to edge, it's at 1/2 inch right now. I want it to go, you know what, I'm going to change it from 1 inch to 3/4 inch overhang. So I need an extra 1/4 inch. Now I'm just going to make this 1/4 inch, 0.25, because I know exactly what number I want it to be. And I'm going to pull this out 1/4 inch. Draw my line. Yep, that's right at 3/4 inch. I'm going to set my concentric back to 0. Let's go to full camera. Bingo. Lastly, simply select my column and my pedestal. What I did was I clicked on the column, I shift click through the two pedestal objects. Now, on the bottom side here, bottom left-hand corner of my screen, it says 4 objects currently selected. The only other object, so column and 2 parts for the pedestal makes 3. What I've actually got selected now is also the doorway. I don't want that, so I'm going to shift on my keyboard and click right in the middle and deselect the doorway. You see 3 objects currently selected. So that's my column and 2 parts of my pedestal. I'm going to copy that and mirror that about the center of this doorway. And now I've got both sides. Whoop, there we go. So there we have it. There's a few more details to take care of, but I thought I'd share this example with you. I do believe in, no, okay, CS03. Is it a -03? CS-03. I'm gonna do a search for that. CS-03. In X9, I believe we can paint molding shapes onto, see how it changes from that molding icon to this. I can paint molding shapes on directly in the plan view onto our door and window casing. And all 3 of them now show up with that molding. So there you are. This has been another Tech Tip on Tuesday with Tim Schrock from Design Build Solutions on Chief Architect X9. Thanks for watching.